Hi, fifth graders. Today's topics are going to be variable word problems, unknown blanks in equations, and solving equations with integers. Let's start off with word problems. Number 2 says there are 24 football players warming up on the field. Their coach tells them to split up into 4 equal groups for a drill. The letter P stands for the number of players in each group. Which equation can you use to find P? So we want to find out how many players are in one group, right? But we're given the total number of players in the football team and the total number of groups that we want. So in order to find out how many players are in each group, which means just one, we would have to divide. So our answer would be B. And let's explain this a little bit further. When we divide the total number of players by the total number of people, groups, we would get the total number of players in one group because we're singling it out, right? But if we were to multiply it, then we would just expand the number of players, which doesn't make sense in terms of this situation. That's why the answer would be B. Next, let's do unknown blanks in equations. This is basically just algebra. So I filled in a variable of a. So it will be 4 times a equals 32. And we need to try to find out what this variable a stands for. So when we do 4 times a, it will just be 4a. It's the same thing. Equals 32. Now, in order to solve this problem, we want a to be alone, and we can't add or subtract anything to the other side, but we can divide, right? So we're going to divide a by 4, and if we divide 4a by 4, then we also have to do it to the other side. So we would divide 32 by 4. And then we know 32 divided by 4 gives us 8, right? So a would equal 8. And that would be your answer. So when you're solving this worksheet, if it makes you feel better, some of these are just very straightforward. It gives you 2 factors and you just multiply them and you need to find the product. But for some of them, it gives you a missing factor. And if you want, you can use variables to solve that answer. Next, let's do solving equations with integers. So in this case, it's the same thing, except they give you the variable, and instead of multiplying, we're subtracting and adding. So let's do number 14. Number 14 gives us 7 minus r equals 9. So what we want to do is isolate this r, right? And let's just write this equation down again. Once again, we want r alone, right? In order to get r alone, we can subtract 7 to the other side. So let's do that. So let's subtract 7, subtract 7. 7 minus 7 will just give us 0. So the factor side or the factor side will give us just negative r equals 9 minus 7 is just 2, right? Now, we have negative r equals 2. However, that's not your final answer because r is still not alone, right? It still has this negative in front of it. And this negative in front is the same thing as negative 1 r equals 2. In order to get r alone, we would have to divide negative r by negative 1. And once again, if we divide on one side, then we have to divide the other side by the same number. So we'll divide 2 by negative 1. I give away the answer. 2 divided by negative 1 would just gives us negative 2. So r would give us negative 2. So for this one, once again, you want your variable to be alone, and that's the only way you would answer these problems. Let's do a continuation. So this is the same thing, except for here it gives us multiplication, addition, subtraction, and division. So number 6 gives us negative 7 equals f over 15. Now, we want f to be alone. And the only way we can do that, we can't subtract or add a number to the other side. And we're given a fraction, which means that it's dividing, right? So f is being divided by 15. And the only way to reverse that or get f alone is by multiplying f over 15 by 15 over 1, which is the same thing as just 15. Now, when we do this, the 15 will cancel out and we will just be given an F on this side, right? However, if we multiply one side by 15, then we need to multiply the other side by 15, right? It has to be treated the same way. So F would give us 15 times negative 7. So let's try that. So 15 times 7. 5 times 7 is 35. Bring down the 5, bring up the 3. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 plus 3 is 10. So our answer would be not 105, but negative 105. Remember, if you multiply a number by a negative number, then your answer will be negative, not positive. Especially if you're multiplying as positive. So if you're multiplying a positive number by a negative number, your answer will be negative. But if you're multiplying a negative number by a negative number, your answer will be positive. Make sure to keep that in mind. Same for dividing. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video helped you guys a bit.